What is up, Mountaineer Nation? We are here live for the post-game reaction show to West Virginia's 79-73 loss to the St. John's Red Storm. We want to thank everybody for being in here in the house. This is Couz, of course.
And I'm Mountaineer Paul.
And we present to you a live edition of
Hoops from the Hills.
Thanks again, everybody, for hopping in here tonight for this live stream. Timothy Green, Jacob Yoho, Curtis D, you guys are loyal to us, man. Stephen Bibb, thank you for being in here. BB, thank you. Earth Ether, thank you for being in here. Big Aaron, you guys are always there with us. We appreciate your loyalty. And anybody who may hop in later, thanks to you as well. Before we get started, guys, just want to remind everybody to like the video as you're coming in. If you're already in, just take a second, go out and hit the like button for us. That helps that algorithm. Make sure to be active in the chat. That helps as well. And if you're watching this on the replay, those things still help. Liking, commenting, it all helps the channel, whether you're watching it live or watching it on the playback. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of this thing, man, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor. So bear with us for about 30 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. Guys, we appreciate you. Always got to also show them some love with their logo here. It won't let me do that while the video's playing. So show some love to Dutch Miller Auto when you're in the market for a new vehicle or some service work. Go see Dutch Miller Auto. They do have locations outside of West Virginia, so go check them out at DutchMillerAuto.com to see if they have a location near you. And if you're in West Virginia, I guarantee you they have one within about at least 45 minutes to an hour from you. So if not closer. So go check them out, DutchMillerAuto.com. Paul, it was not pretty, my man.
Yeah.
I'll let you kick it off here.
I don't know, man. I didn't get to watch the last 5 minutes of the game, and that was like, go ahead and stab me in the heart. You know, it was a close game.
Yeah.
I just have to get this off my chest. You know, the Montverde basketball game, which I get it. They've got Cooper Flagg. They've got a bunch of 5-star guys on that roster. And they're basically a college team assembled as 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds. And so we were all forced to go to ESPN News to watch our game until, that game was over, and then the rest of America could join together and we can watch the game on ESPN there. And I couldn't believe it whenever they just cut to basically like the halftime show and said that I needed to watch the rest of the game on ESPN News, which I don't have. I was baffled by that. I was so pissed. It's taken me till just now to calm down from that. I was so mad. And yeah. I know people say it's not life and death and it's just a game. But this is just one thing I take extremely seriously. And I want to be educated for you guys because we were already going live, So I wanted to have something to say about the last 5 minutes of the game because it's like basically the most important part of the game. I mean, seriously. So the disrespect, it's there. It's evident. It's always going to be there. And, if it wasn't illegal to say what I would do the NCAA, I would do it. But I'm not going to say out loud what I wish I could do. Man, I was so mad. Couple that with Couz just trying to give me updates and be a good friend, and I was just so mad. And the game was close, is all I could see by his text messages, and then I'm missing it. So, so I didn't mean to come off angry to you, but no, I was just.
It's all good.
To me, all I could see with that text is at 68-66 was you're missing a close game. So. I was so mad.
You pulled a Couz on me. You looked at the negative. You looked at the negative of it instead of the positive. You pulled a Couz on me there, buddy. That's what I normally do. You got to let me be the one that does that crap. If we both start doing it, we're screwed. Anyway.
Right. So, but to the game, it was a really ugly game. Surprised it got into the 70s. Neither one of these teams, at least on this night, was very fluent offensively. Obviously, they bullied us down low with Soriano. He's a good player. Plays nasty. He's a guy Bob Huggins would love to play and have, I would say. And certainly West Virginia is not built for that. Pat Suminick really gave a lot of energy tonight. I figured he needed mentioning because he gets a lot of hate. Because he's not the most gifted basketball player at the Power 5 level, but he got his hands on a lot of balls tonight, and he really gave it his all.
He did.
Similar to how Gabe Ossabuyan did. Yeah. And I think Pat Suminick, if he does that, definitely has a role in this team somewhere. And maybe that's his role. He's just the energy guy. We need our guards back, Couz, and until they come back, we're not going to know exactly what this team's going to look like. We need a closer. We need somebody that can make big shots. I think Slazinsky can do that, but he's gassing himself in the first half. Mm-hmm. And by the time the second half rolls around, Slazinsky's basically worn out. And we need to reverse that and just find a way to distribute, because there's only really 4 guys that's helping us right now. And the fourth guy alternates between one of the bench players almost every night. Tonight it happened to be Josiah Harris. So that's my basic.
Yeah.
Bleh.
All right. Well, first off, I want to talk about the ESPN thing, because as you were talking, I thought about something. West Virginia only has like a handful of games on ESPN and ESPN2 the entire season this year anyway.
Right.
Almost every one of our games are on ESPN Plus this year. Even the big.
I would have rather have been on there anyway.
And for them to do that on one of the only games we have on there this year is a little bit of a punch to the face or the gut, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure they're not worried about that. You know what I mean? That's not making sure West Virginia's happy is not at the top of their priority list, but it's just one more thing that makes us West Virginia people or fans or whatever feel disrespected, even though I know that wasn't their intent. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure St. John's fans were frustrated about it just like we were. So it wasn't just
screw St. John's.
Schwab may not agree with that.
my buddy Howie Schwab.
By the way, guys, did Paul not, and I know y'all can't talk to me here, but just leave in the comments, did Paul not do a great job with his interview with Howie Schwab last week or earlier this week? Fantastic job. I was really proud of that. Hate I couldn't join him, but unfortunately, work gets in the way of my hobby. But anyway, as far as the game goes, sloppy play, a lot of sloppy play. I actually, when I was looking at the stats, the turnovers were actually not as bad as I thought they were. I thought we would have a lot more turnovers than what we actually had. I'm sharing the screen here.
Ate that press alive tonight.
Yeah, we need Kirk Reese bad, man. But first off, I mean, they shot 69 shots to our 48, number one, and we still were within 6 points. Because we went to the line, I mean, we shot 43 free throws. You know what I mean? So, that 72% normally is okay with 43 foul shots. But the problem is we missed them in crunch time. We missed them in the second half when we needed them the most. That's the problem. And I don't know if a lot of the shots were falling short, so I assume fatigue probably had something to do with it. But when you look at these other stats here, I mean,
I think the biggest one, real quick, jumps out to me real quick is the Jesse Edwards. Look how many minutes he played.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the team stats at the moment. I'll get to the individual.
Only 23 minutes. That's basically a half.
Yeah. Because he was in foul trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. So
could have been a different game.
Yeah. And he still had 15 and 6. You know? I mean, I think Soriano outplayed him, but a lot of that had to do with the foul trouble.
Right.
And this is really something Jesse has to get better at. Sorry for interrupting you, though.
No,
But
you're good.
teams know that Jesse's uncomfortable playing man to man, and at the end of the day, this is going to be something that Jesse needs to get fixed if he wants to have an NBA career, because he will not have one if you can't play man to man defense.
Yeah.
So,
and that might be why he chose to transfer too, or one of the reasons. I mean, I know, I think NIL had something to do with it, but I think,
yeah,
that could have been a factor for sure. Look at the team stats real quick, and then I'm going to go over and look at the individual stats too. But I mean, field goal percentage, it was 42-40 basically, so not a big difference there. 3-point percentage was 26-40. We actually had the advantage there, but we only shot 10 threes, which was probably okay. You don't want to be chunking up a bunch of threes. Free throws, like I said, we were 31 out of 43, 72% to their 70%. They were 14-20. Rebounds, 36-35 to their advantage. However, here's the killer. They had 17 offensive rebounds to our 12. So that means 5 different times they were able to get at least one extra shot at the rim. And several of those they made, because I mean, just based off memory, they made several of those second chance opportunities. And a few of those times I noticed our guys weren't boxing out. I mean, Soriano's hard enough to keep off the glass. To not box him out is just you might as well not even be there. I mean, you've got to box guys out. It was just basic fundamentals tonight, really, I thought, that cost us this game. Passing, catching, dribbling, and not boxing people out, things like that just missing free throws. Just basic fundamental stuff that this team needs to get better at. Assists, here's another one, 15-6. We only had 6 assists in the game. The guys weren't passing the ball. They were they were too much dribbling, too much trying to play one-on-one. And this is, look, no offense to this team, but there's not many people on this team that's going to take a lot of guys one-on-one to the rim. Okay? It's not what we're good at. And I thought they did that way too much tonight. And it cost us. We had more steals than them, 3-2. Blocks, 8-4, their advantage. Total turnovers, we had 10, they had 6. Again, 10 is not that bad, really. Fouls.
No, we'll take 10.
Yeah. I mean, they fouled us 30 times, man.
Yeah, well, that was their goal, was to be physical with us. You could see that was very, very obvious. They pressed us all the way, the entire length of the court. I mean, it's just a classic book against a short bench. Get them into foul trouble. You use your bench against them and wear them down, which is exactly what happened, right? Yep. I mean, it's literally what every team is doing to us right now. And we're just ill-equipped to deal with it. And unless we're just better than some teams, we're not going to be able to. I mean, we might pull a game out like this here and there that's close, but the way things are right now until game 9 and we get Kirk Risa back, and even then, I don't know how much. I think the biggest silver lining from all this to me is Kobe and the experience he's getting against good competition. He's really he's improved so much. Think of what he was last year. I mean, he has really grown into a good ball player, and he's had to be thrown into the fire to progress that along. But it's going to pay dividends at some point. I don't know when. But he's turned into a Joe Toussaint type player, and although he's not as good as Joe yet, maybe he'll get there. I think it's going to pay really big dividends down the road, especially if Kerr gets in foul trouble or God forbid gets hurt, but
yeah.
The only thing I literally spend a lot of time thinking about this team and what could have been with the roster. I do. Probably more than it's healthy.
Right.
I'm thinking about it right now.
Yeah. I've had a couple people. I know Earth Ether mentioned replacing the guys who left. And I saw somebody mention replacing a Cook. You can't add players mid-season. Now, what they can do, let me back up. You can't add players mid-semester. Now, you can add players for the second semester, which is after the Christmas break, which they might be able to do. There's one guy in particular that they are looking at. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. God's Love something.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they might still be able to add somebody second semester. But they can't do it any earlier than that, just based on the way things are. I mean, everybody's in school right now, so you can't just leave school and go start playing basketball somewhere. You know what I mean? It's not like the pros where guys can just make a trade and that's good, mid-season and change teams.
You don't think they would have done that if they could have already?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good question, though. It is a fair question. But the way I understand it, they just can't do it until after the semester's over. And they may do that. If they see that a cook's not coming back, they may go get somebody else.
Yeah. Well, so many games it's getting to the point to where so many games are going by that it, especially in a Cook situation, a medical redshirt might be the way he goes.
Yeah.
I don't have any inside knowledge for that. And the same thing with Raekwon Battle. At some point, how many games is too many games before you just say, okay, we're redshirt? Would he wait 20 games, 30 games? I mean, how many would he wait? I'm just curious about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to tell, man.
No, we can't. We don't have anybody that has he was Chris Ledlum that you saw tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what Jose Perez would do for us, just a little bit less athletic. He's not going to dunk on somebody like Ledlum did early in the game, but he's a bigger guy that can handle the ball and shoot it, that can back down smaller guards, and he's doing that at Arizona State right now. He's one of their two best players. So, no, I don't think we can replace Jose Perez, and other guys that we didn't get, Omar Silverio, I'm telling you, I watched that guy drop 38 points in the game when he played for Hofstra, which is a mid-major, but still, I mean, he dropped 38 points in the Division I game or whatever it was. I still believe that Silverio would have played he'd have been starting on this team right now. Absolutely.
Yeah. Curtis said he's here. We might hear something about a Cook on Wednesday. That'd be great. I'm sure they would at least like to have some answers, whether it's good or bad, so that they can move on and make decisions accordingly.
He would have been huge tonight. We'd have probably won the rebounding battle.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it, guys. When Jesse has to leave the court, Pat Sumnick is – and look, like Paul said, Pat Sumnick played his tail off tonight. Hats off to the guy. But he is just not that level of player. And asking him to try to guard somebody like Soriano is just – it's a losing battle, guys. I mean, Jesse was even struggling with him because Jesse is not a big-bodied guy. Tonight's a night we needed somebody like Jimmy Bell, to be honest with you, because Soriano was just bullying his way underneath. And he just had a heck of a night, which, speaking of that, I'm going to read over these individual stats real quick.
Jimmy Bell, and he's having himself such a good season, too.
Joel Soriano had 24 points, 9 rebounds on 8 of 11 shooting. Chris Ledlum, that Paul mentioned, who, by the way, earlier this week, they weren't even sure if he was going to play or not because he had been sick. But he did play and obviously had a great game, had a double-double, 17 points, 10 rebounds. You had Dingle had 10 points. We remember that name from football, right? The name Dingle, Johnny Dingle.
I thought that all night long. I thought that all night long.
Where's Barry at?
Yeah.
Dingleberry, remember that one?
Oh, it's classic. Love that picture.
Yeah. And then Aline had 14.
They should come up with an app together. Johnny Dingle and Scooter Berry.
They should.
Or some cereal, Dingleberries. Would you eat chocolate cereal called Dingleberries?
No, I would not. I don't know. Actually, I probably would. I'd probably do it just to say I did it, just to get a chuckle out of it.
Yeah.
Aren't we mature?
Well, it's more me than you, but yeah.
We're like a bunch of 2-year-olds on here, aren't we? Talking about Dingleberries. It's okay. We're having fun. West Virginia, Josiah Harris had 10. Quinn Slazinsky with 19 with 7 rebounds. Josiah had 8 rebounds. Jesse with 15 and 6, like Paul mentioned earlier. Kobe 14 points, 2 rebounds, only 1 assist. That really needs to come up. 2 points for Seth Wilson. Seth Wilson's just struggling, man. He was 0 for 11 from the floor tonight, man. But a lot of his shots, he's not taking good shots. Here's what I think about Seth, and it may be some other guys too. Honestly, I think they're trying too hard.
He's out of place.
He's out of control. They're not instead of letting the game come to him, he's trying to force it. And I think I don't know if he's just not adjusted to being a starter. I don't know if he feels too much pressure, or quite frankly, I don't know if he's just not good enough. But whatever it is, he's really struggling, man. And I hope he gets his shot back. He gets his shot back. The thing I've noticed with Seth, and Paul, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but it seems to me like he's not taking – number one, he's not shooting the ball when he's open. And he's taking – when he's not open, he's shooting – he's basically taking bad shots. And then when he has good shots, he's not taking them.
He did a good job tonight in the press as far as breaking the press a bunch.
Right.
He handles the ball. He handles the ball really well, actually. He really, he's so used to using that left hand and pulling up and spotting with it. And I think that has a lot to do with why he's so good with that left. But, unfortunately, another thing he struggles with is finishing on the left side of the basket with his left hand. He always switches to his right hand. You saw it even tonight. He went from the right side of the rim to the left side across the rim and still tried to reverse layup it in with his right hand, but just because he's so uncomfortable shooting with the left.
Right.
I wish he would develop that more on the shooting side of things to complement his left dribbling hand, but he just hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
If Seth had maybe 1 or 2 more years and he really worked at it, I think he'd be a comparable player. But yeah, you're right. He does need to slow down, and he's just another thing. Like I was saying a minute ago, he's just in a role that's not his role. They're kind of playing him as a 2 guard, and he is not a 2 guard. So to me, he's really. I mean,
there you go.
You can play him at 2 guard. He's almost too little to play 3, and he's not a point guard. But he's a guy you can bring off the bench and run screens for, and should be able to shoot it, right? Or he's a guy that you get penetration. Yeah, he's a guy you get penetration, you kick it out to him, and he shoots it, right?
Yeah, yep.
And you can help, and he can also penetrate, but he can't. He's no threat to score it, but he can penetrate. So. I mean, he just has very little touch around the rim. And I really wish somebody would have corrected that shot of his early, but they didn't, so it's over here.
Right. But yeah, Lazo mentioned that in the chat room. I wanted to bring that up. Seth needs to be off the ball. He needs Creasa. I think we'll see a different basket. I still don't know if one guy's going to make a massive difference. But I can tell you this team will play cleaner basketball, in my opinion, when Kirk Creasa gets back. When I say cleaner, I mean you'll have guys playing their natural positions again. You'll have Kobe won't have to be on the ball. Seth won't have to be on the ball. Kirk can run the offense. And that's what that's his specialty. Quinn Slazinsky said in his presser earlier this week, in his mind, he's the best point guard in college basketball. So he said he's got a talent, a God-gifted talent to be a point guard. It's just what he's good at. He's a good passer. He can shoot it too, which we need right now because
we need him to be aggressive when he gets back.
Yep.
I don't know if that's suited to his game, but we need him to be.
And I think I'll be honest. I think it'll help Jesse too. I think Jesse will be better once Kerr's here because they can feed off of each other, and it'll take some of the pressure off. Right now, Jesse. Well, I shouldn't say that. Quinn has been doing well scoring the ball too, but those 2 guys are.
Quinn's been our best player.
Right, yeah. Those 2 guys are under a lot of pressure to do all the scoring right now, and Kirk can help take some of that off of them. So I do think he'll make a difference. But the problem is, we might be sitting here at 3-6 or 4-5 when he gets back, and that's a hard hole to. And we're going to be getting ready to go into Big 12 play here soon. That's going to be a hard hole to dig out of. Not saying they can't do it, but it'll really help if we can get a Cook and or Raekwon back as well. That'll be huge. And if they are able to go out and get somebody like that God's love guy or whoever, if they can help us, then they can do that too.
It's hard to say, and I want this staff to succeed, obviously for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, as it stands right now, it's not looking good on all these guys being back for next year. And that's not something anybody wants to hear right now, I know, but and things, if we get the guys back, I mean, it's basically that's what it comes down to. We need more than Kirk Risa. If he's the only guy we get back, it's going to be a long year. We need any combination of Kerr and a Cook or Kerr and Raekwon, in my opinion, for this team to have a chance.
Yeah, I agree, man. And again, Paul and I are not on here. These guys are playing their butts off. They are. They're trying, man. They're playing hard. They're putting forth the effort. I think they're bought into what Josh Eilert's trying to do. It's just there's just not enough bodies, man. And there's guys playing out of position. There's guys playing more minutes than they're really prepared to play. And it's just they're having trouble, making up for that. And playing the zone, it was a smart thing to do. It's helped them some, but it's just not getting them over the hump completely. No. And I've seen growth in Josh Eilert as a coach. Now, I didn't like the way he handled the last couple minutes. Paul, I don't know if you know this since you didn't get to see it, but we were down 4 with a minute 8 or with 43 seconds left, I think it was. And the guy, the analyst said, and Quinn was at the free throw line. He made the first shot to put us down 4. The analyst said, if he makes this one, you don't need to foul because you're only down 1 possession. Well, he missed it. They get the rebound, and Josh Eilert had the guys backpedaling with only 43 seconds on the clock instead of fouling. And they were able to take the clock all the way down to 7 seconds on the shot clock by the time they shot it, and that didn't leave us enough time, and I think they ended up making it too, which made it even worse. And there just wasn't enough time on the clock for us to work with at that point because he didn't foul and stop the clock.
What were we down? Were we down 3?
We were down 4 with 43 seconds left, 2 possessions.
Okay.
And I mean, even the analysts were talking about how that was a miss on Josh's part there because, I mean, it's a 30-second shot clock, right? So they can just run it down, or 30, or is it 24-second clock? So they can just run it down all the way to basically to 0, and you only have 9 seconds left at that point, right? So you don't want to be down 9 seconds with down 2 possessions. So anyway, but he's learning, man.
So you're saying there was only 38 or 39 seconds left? Is that
43,
what you're saying?
43 seconds.
43.
And we were down 4.
Okay.
And we didn't foul.
It's definitely you're running yourself close. I mean, even at 14 seconds, you've got to get down the floor, make a quick 3, foul, and then do the same thing again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you have to do at that point.
Right. Yep. But anyway, again, like somebody like Earth Ether said, it may not have mattered. It may not have made a difference in the outcome, but I would say if Josh Eilert ever has to do that over again, he'll probably foul in that situation.
Maybe he was waiting for somebody, a good matchup to foul. Somebody that's a bad free throw shooter.
Maybe. I don't know. Big Aaron, that's kind of what I said during the game, but I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt right now when I'm not emotional.
Well, I mean, people crack under pressure all the time, man. It's very common. Happens all the time. People literally, it's documented, man. People can literally have brain farts. My dad, I'll just tell you something. My dad was he worked for the electric pump company for I want to say probably 20-something years, and then he was a foreman, became a general foreman, and my dad was in the bucket going to show somebody how to do something, and for whatever reason, my dad had done this same thing every day for 27 years. Was under a lot of pressure because his boss was there.
Yeah.
Made a mistake and electrocuted himself 7,600 volts. I mean, and that's that's not a great comparison, but point is my dad made a mistake under pressure, a bad call. And now he thought the electricity was off because the electricity was supposed to be off. on the company's part or whatever. But yeah, 7,600 volts hit him, and obviously he lost his arm and all that.
Man,
but,
that's a terrible story.
Yeah. So be buckle under pressure,
It happens. I mean, I've done it when I played sports. I've struck out in ball games with the bases loaded, and I didn't strike out a lot either. But for whatever reason, when it seems like when the bases were loaded, I struck out every time. It just happens, man. But anyway, go to Matt highlights 2 for the game, Paul, to see some of the late highlights in the game. Oh, okay. Thank you, Scotty, for that, man. Paul can go check that out if he wants to relive that. Everything okay?
Yeah. I forgot my mom was supposed to text me when she was on her way.
Okay. What do you? If you need to jump off, man.
No, I just need to check the phone, see what she said.
Okay.
Real quick.
Hey guys,
I was trying to do it discreetly.
That's all right. No worries. But yeah, I get it, Earth Ether. He is getting paid a lot of money to make decisions. That's fair. That's totally fair, man. And he did sit beside Bob Huggins for 17 years, so he should have known to. I mean, to me, I guess maybe I'm being too easy on him, but to me, it's kind of common sense. You foul if you're down 2 possessions under a minute to go on the clock, you foul. I mean, that's pretty common sense to me. But I don't know if he just forgot. If he thought maybe they could get a stop, but I don't know, man. I mean, at least put full court pressure on them. Don't back up and play zone defense. I didn't get it. But anyway, it is what it is. May not have made a difference anyway.
I'll have to watch it myself to see if I can sort anything out, any reason, but it sounds like there's not really one.
I don't know one. I can't think of one. Curtis D says you don't have to be a coach to know to foul at that point. Yeah, like I said, it's pretty much anybody. To me, if you've been around the game of basketball or watched a game of basketball for a long period of time, or even a short period of time for that matter, you should probably know that. But that being said, John, I don't think they were. John, I got to respectfully disagree with that one. I don't think we were outmatched in this game. Honestly, not that much. Now we were inside with Soriano. He was a matchup, and with the other guy. What was it? The other big guy's name? I cannot think of his name.
Ledlum.
Ledlum. Those 2 guys were probably mismatches for us to a degree, but St. John's is not that good of a team, man. I don't think. At least they didn't look like it tonight. But
yeah, the record was they were 4-2 coming in, so it's not
right. Yeah. Soriano's good. Ledlum's good. They got good players, but I just don't think they've gelled as a team yet. Now, they've got plenty of time to do it, and they've got a Hall of Fame coach on the sideline that will probably get them there. But as of right now, this game was very winnable for us, in my opinion. But again, like I've said many a time, I have – now, did I get frustrated watching the game? Absolutely I did. Because I'm a fan, and that's what happens when you're a fan. But at the end of the day, when I sit back and think about this team, John, I agree with you. The roster depth just makes it tough, no matter who they're playing. And teams know that. Teams are going to press them. Teams are going to force them to run. Teams are going to try to get them in foul trouble. Everybody they play is going to do this stuff to them, so they've got to adjust to it. And there's going to be a lot of games, especially when we get into conference play, where we're going to be outmatched from a talent perspective too, at least 2, maybe if not 3 positions. So they're going to have to come up with creative ways. They're going to have to play harder than everybody else every game. And it's hard to do that when you've only got 7 or 8 guys, right? And they're going to have to
solution.
And there's going to have to – the coaching staff will have to maybe come up with a different type of zone defense to try, or maybe the 2-3 becomes more effective, or I don't know, man. There's just like Paul said, maybe there is no solution at the end of the day. Big Aaron says, thank you for the super chat, my man. He says, thanks for doing these lives. Look forward to them. I look forward to doing them, man. It's kind of – I think I've heard Paul say this. It's a little bit therapeutic to do them at times, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Gives us a way to get stuff off our chest and vent a little bit.
Yeah. I'd like to actually, just thinking off the top of my head here, where we would have probably discuss it. I'd like to be able to do a call-in show and let the fans call into us.
Yeah.
and vent, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to do one of those one of these days, maybe a post-game vent session or something.
Yeah. I just don't know how to set that up.
I've been working on trying to set it up. I just haven't been able to figure out. I've got the phone line thing figured out, but I haven't been able to figure out how to get the audience to hear the call yet. I'm still working on it. I'm not great with technology. The only other way to do it is to share the link with the audience and let people actually come on the show with us. We could do that maybe at some point.
Interesting.
I want to touch on this topic. Ali Regab, he has not played yet. We know he's a walk-on. We know he's 7'2". To me tonight, if you were going to play him tonight, would have been the night to do it. But obviously they're not going to. Do you think, Paul, in your opinion, do you think it's just because he's not good enough?
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely. Ready? Yeah. You watch. Nobody in here watching any tape on him. There's tape out there. Go flip it on. You'll see why he's not playing. No offense to you, Ali. I mean, he was brought in strictly for Jesse Edwards to get a feel for a big body. Think of it as, you ever seen coaches put the crash pad on their forearm and let post players work on them? That's what he is. And that's harsh. But he would not have been able to keep the pace. He's probably not in game shape. Like, they're probably not practicing him like that. I would guess. I mean, he might, he's probably just there to play with Jesse. At least that was everything I was told. But doesn't mean he can't improve or anything. But he's a big guy, man.
I think about Logan Rout. When Logan Rout first came on this team, he was kind of the same way. He was just a big body he had played quarterback for his football team in high school, was a walk-on, came in and didn't really get to do a whole lot. And by the end of his career at West Virginia, he was playing a lot of minutes. So,
yeah, this guy is no Logan Rout, at least from what I've seen.
From an athleticism standpoint?
Yeah, nowhere close to that.
I got you.
It's like slow. It's slow mo, buddy.
Yeah. I got you.
But I'm not an expert, so I mean, I could certainly be proven wrong. He just needs to lose a lot of weight, that, to me.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of extra weight on him. At least the last time I saw him, he did. So.
Yeah, Bembry's not getting a lot of minutes either, John. Coach Eilert has said in press conferences that Bembry's really not ready yet. He's not. I mean, he didn't play a bounce of basketball, as Josh likes to say, last year for Florida State. He redshirted, and he's really not ready yet. So, I mean, he really probably wouldn't be playing him at all if he didn't have to be honest with you.
At Gannon University, he averaged 2.2 points per game and 2.2 rebounds per game.
Yeah. So we have no bench. We've wasted what we have with Regab. I guess you could look at it that way.
Well, I think I brought that up to you. I thought it was odd too that, not only him but Bembry, Noah Farrakhan, guys like that. While Bembry and Farrakhan will probably likely pay off in the future, it might not be for this coaching staff.
Yeah.
And we better hope that Farrakhan and even Raekwon Battle doesn't get some kind of degree where they graduated, because then we may not even get to see them play similar to Jose Perez.
Right.
But, I mean, to me, I questioned. I think this coaching staff was in a situation where, now, obviously, Raekwon he was a take while Bob Huggins was the head guy. We know that.
Who's
but
that?
Noah Farrakhan, Raekwon Battle.
Raekwon, right, correct.
But you look at Farrakhan, you look at Regab, you look at who's the other one I missed? Noah Farrakhan, Bembry.
Jeremiah Bembry.
Jeremiah Bembry. And these are guys that basically aren't playing at all. Yeah, Neve's getting a lot of minutes. I certainly see the potential with him. I really do think. I do think he can turn into a really good player.
Huggins might have even would have played him. I don't know.
6 or 7 minutes a game, maybe. Yeah. But like, until he grew into, but he's just got to put on weight at the end of the day. He plays big for his size already, though. I'm more impressed. He's got to work on his jump shot. Obviously, it's there. He's got pretty good form, but he's an athletic, probably one of the most athletic guys on the team. Farrakhan's by far the most, but we're not seeing him play this year.
Yeah. Well, Eilert admitted Farrakhan was a guy they brought in for the future. They wanted somebody.
Right, but that's my point. No, you don't really have the future.
Yeah, but like you were talking about, they didn't expect. They assumed Raekwon was going to get his waiver. They didn't know Kerr was going to get suspended. They didn't know Cook was going to have a heart issue or whatever, or an alleged heart issue or whatever it is.
How could you?
So it's hard to blame them for the moves they made. The only thing I will say, and the guys on the announcers even brought this up tonight, you do have to look at this coaching staff and question why coaches would bring in so many guys that didn't have that needed waivers. That's a huge risk to take. So
absolutely.
Eilert trying hard, and the coaches, they are trying hard, man. They're coaching their butt off. The players are playing their butt off. They're just at such a disadvantage, man. They have to play almost a perfect game to win against a Power 5, or I guess in this case Power 6 school. They have to play almost a perfect game because they just can't. They have zero room for error, man. Zero. And lots a lot like his comment. Where's Cam Thurman when you need him? Yeah, we could have used Cam Thurman tonight, man, for sure.
Right. No doubt about that.
Or who's the other? Or a Gabe Osaboyan, or
any of those blue guys, Nate Adrian.
Yeah. They are getting better, John. I am seeing some improvements, no doubt. They just got, like I said earlier in the show, they just need to clean up their fundamentals. A lot of balls went through their hands tonight, whether it be on rebounds, on passes. Their passing is not good and sharp and crisp. They don't pass it enough. Just basic stuff. Fundamental basic basketball 101. And again, some of that might go back to the fact that these guys haven't played together a lot. They threw this team together. It's like Huggins has talked about in the past, when you got all these transfers on one team, it takes them a while to gel. And maybe they're still figuring all that out. That could be part of it. Yeah, Curtis, I know, man, 0 for 11. Isn't that something? That's what we want to hear, John. If we can just beat Pitt, it'll make tonight feel much better.
Yeah. Post comment. All right, guys. I put down in the chat highlights of Ali Regab, however you say it. Like I said, no offense to the young man, but I wouldn't start him on a high school team. That's how bad these highlights look. Just so you can get an answer if you're wondering.
Makes you wonder, like you said, why would you wait? I don't know. To me, you're wasting a roster spot.
It's really, 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 really bad. But anyway, I don't want to sit here and bash this kid, man. I feel awful.
No, he's probably a great kid. Yeah.
But I mean, you get down to brass tacks, and we're West Virginia fans, and beat Pitt Wednesday. They're a good basketball team, guys. They really are. They returned most of the guys. Hinton is still there. The kid they had that broke out as a freshman last year is still there. They've got. Hey, look, go watch. Who said that? Go watch the tape. Man, he's having trouble backing down a kid that's probably 6'1" on there. Barely out rebounding him. It's wild, man. But yeah, to me, the Pitt's a good basketball team, man. Have they lost yet?
That's what I'm actually getting. That's what I was looking for, Paul, because I have no idea.
I know I think they played. It's one of those things where I dislike them so much. I try not to even keep up with them.
Oh, I get it. When did they play last? Do you know?
Yeah, they played Missouri. Gosh, let me think. A couple days ago, anyway.
Here we go.
Okay, they just lost to Missouri.
Lost, but they're 5-2 on the year and 4-1 at home.
Yeah, they lost to Florida.
Yeah, they've beaten NC-A&T by 48 points. They beat Binghamton by 29 points. They beat Florida Gulf Coast by 12. They beat Jacksonville by 51. Golly. They lost to Florida by 15 and beat Oregon State. They beat Oregon State by 14, and they lost to Missouri by 7. So they're a pretty good basketball team.
Yeah.
They play Clemson on the 3rd, and then they turn around and play us in Morgantown on the 6th. Let's guys, we need to do a lot of praying. Wishing to the stars, whatever it is you guys do. Rub somebody's bald head. I don't care. I'll rub my own. Do what you got to do.
Carrington.
To get Raekwon Battle and a Cook back before this game. Because Kerr's not coming back. We know that. So
right. They've still got Blake Henson, and he obviously played terribly against us last year. I don't think he had he might have scored some towards the end, but I know he barely scored anything in the first 3 quarters of that game. And then they got Federico still, which was almost a West Virginia guy.
Yeah.
We literally had him signed on the dotted line. Yeah, he's turned into a good college player. He'd certainly be their second best big. And then Carrington, Leggett, those guys are both on there last year. They had a really dynamic other guard that stepped up for him last year, but I don't see him on there. Oh, yeah, that's right. He got arrested, didn't he?
Who?
Pitt. They had that kid that got arrested. What's his name?
Yeah, they did. I can't remember his name, but yeah, you're right. Is he still is he off the team totally, or is he back?
Oh yeah. No, he's done. Well, he did some bad stuff, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't remember all the details. Somebody I saw up here asking about Pitt. They actually did. They beat Oregon State. Curtis. They have beaten Oregon State. That's the only Power 5 team they've beaten.
Yeah. Well, we'll have that in common.
But they've beaten they have beaten their non-Power 5 opponents. They've blown them out. Where West Virginia's been struggling with anybody.
We should have a paint advantage in that game. No doubt. Federico can play a little bit, but he's by far nowhere near Jesse Edwards.
Yeah, John, I saw that today, man. It's very disappointing.
Said they haven't
very disappointing. Somebody another multiple time transfer got approved today.
What did somebody say about Battle? They haven't filed yet.
Oh yeah,
you had it pulled up there.
Yeah, that's what Wren said. They haven't filed. Who are you talking about, Curtis? Haven't filed. West Virginia says they're not doing anything else. They can't do anything else. They're leaving it up to Raekwon's getting an attorney, a personal attorney. Matter of fact, he already has one. It's one of the guys representing Hugs, actually.
And it's the Attorney General from West Virginia.
And the Attorney General is supposedly fighting it as well. This stuff doesn't happen overnight, guys. It takes time to build a case, to get all your ducks in a row. They're probably gathering information because when you file for this suit, you've got to make sure you have your ducks in a row, I would assume. You can't just you go out there you got to have some facts. Gamecock Chuck, what's up, man? Thanks for hopping on the show. And I saw your comment earlier about us being discombobulated, man. It's just, when you're playing with basically 7 guys and only really 5 or 6 of those is even really good enough to even be playing. It's a struggle, man. This team has been hit with so much bad luck. It's unfortunate. I mean, we got one player that's got out with a health problem. He collapsed on the court. We got one guy who got hit with an NCAA violation after he came to West Virginia for something he did at his previous school. Obviously, we got Raekwon Battle, whose waiver got denied. We had another player whose waiver
Silverio's
got denied. Yep. Silverio's waiver got denied. We had one guy that got kicked
Jose
off the
Perez
team.
got denied.
Yep. Then he got kicked off the team when he was back. It's just one thing after the other, man. And
the
then
Bob
we have
Huggins situation.
at least 3 guys who transferred out because of the Huggins situation. So
yeah, and they all play significant minutes for Kentucky, Alabama, and North Carolina.
I don't know if 2 of those is correct. I don't think Mo's playing a lot of minutes, is he? Or I'm sorry, James at North Carolina.
They all play, is what I'm saying. They all play minutes.
Oh, they do. And I tell you what, man, Joe Toussaint's tearing it up at Texas Tech too.
Yeah, I watched that game. He scored like 10 garbage points. I mean, he was playing well, but he scored 10 points in the last minute and a half of the game.
Uh-huh.
They didn't play how good it looked. I was thinking when I watched that, because it went all the way in overtime. I watched the whole game. He scored 10 points probably in the last minute and a half. I'm not exaggerating. It was 8 points. And I thought, man, people are going to look at that and think he played well, but I think he went up into the 20s with those last 8 points.
Yeah. Kelsey, to address that question, they tried to get a coach, man. Several coaches said they were interested in the job, but couldn't leave in the middle of the summer. They were already getting ready for their upcoming seasons with their current team, and said had it happened in the off season, they would have had a lot more people interested. So there's probably going to be a lot of people that want this job once the season's over.
They had Beeline, but he didn't want to deal with this situation that you see right now.
Yep.
It would have been a waste of him. It would have been a waste of his year.
Yeah, Beeline was that close, but he just didn't want to. He didn't want to deal with the mad exodus from the portal, and I heard there's rumors out there that there was disagreements on the contract. I don't know how much that's true, but
there was between 1 and 4 years.
Something like that. I think the years was kind of but I think they could have got a deal done though, honestly. But I think at the end of the day, he just walked away because he didn't want to deal with. He knew that players were going to leave, and he didn't want to have to deal with it because he knew it would be hard to field a competitive team if half the team left and hit the portal. So
yeah,
and that's what I heard too, Cole, that he wanted Pat to be coach in waiting. I don't know if that's true or not, but I have heard that same rumor. Notice ESPN announcers like to bring up what happened to Hugs. WVU fans don't want to keep hearing about the Hugs incident. I know, man, but unfortunately it's a very popular subject to talk about. Daniel, thanks for hopping in. He says this is going to be a long season. I'm afraid you might be right, Daniel. I'm afraid you might be right. I'm going to continue to support these guys. I know Paul will do the same. I know you guys in the chat will do the same. We're going to support them, man. We're going to cheer for them. But man, sometimes it's hard to watch.
I'm going to bounce out of here and go see my mom, guys.
Yeah, man. It's about time for me too. Paul, thanks for hopping on with me, brother.
All right, guys.
Good night, man.
Later. Almost hit end again. Remember that one time I was actually on one of your shows? I jumped out because on our screen here it says there used to be a button that says leave.
Right.
And now it's just end. And so I wanted to click leave and hit end. I'll shut the video down.
You want me just to remove you?
Yeah.
All right.
Good night, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Be looking for Mountaineer Paul Talk Football.
Yeah, go subscribe to that if you haven't yet, by the way. All right, guys. Paul had to jump off. I'm going to be jumping off soon myself. But yeah, Lizel, the Huggins thing is definitely relevant. It's something that's going to be talked about all season, unfortunately. That shadow is going to loom larger over this program, at least until they can start winning or get a different coach in here that might have some cachet to them or whatever. And I'm not saying I want Josh to get fired or anything. I'm just talking about what – and I don't even know if then it'll go away. Huggins is such a polarizing figure, such a popular guy in college basketball, nationally. He was a national face that everybody recognized. So it's going to be hard for that to go away anytime soon. Pitino for coach. Yeah, based on what I've heard in Quinn Slazinsky's press conferences, I'm not sure Quinn Slazinsky likes Rick Pitino too much, to be honest. So I'm not sure if he would be a good fit for this group. I know you can say tired legs, but as Josh Eilert said, you got to make them when it matters. I agree, Trey. Look, they're not, those guys aren't going to make excuses. They definitely aren't, and I respect that. I respect the heck out of those guys for not making excuses. But yeah, I love the players, love the team. I know Paul does too, and I know all you guys do as well. I just mute the sound and listen to the radio. Hey, a lot of people do that. I've tried to do that, but I can't ever seem to get it synced up with Tony's broadcast. So I finally just quit trying. But yeah, I would love if I could ever figure out how to get it synced up. I would like to do that sometime. It's just hard to do. He was frustrated a few times tonight with the guys running plays. I'm sure Cole's a very emotional guy. I think he loves the team based on things I've heard him say and the way he seems to gel. But he is very emotional, and I think at times he lets that emotion show on. I think he wears it on his sleeve a little bit, and I think it comes across on the camera as well, probably. So one of my friends texted me also and said that he saw Quinn walk by Deshaun Butler, and Deshaun was trying to stop him and tell him something, and he just basically kept walking. I didn't see it, but my buddy was texting me about that. Yeah, I wasn't happy about that either, John. I thought it was a little bit crazy, and then the way they bumped it at the end too was crazy. I mean, it's not like it was a. If it had been a blowout, I could understand it. But man, you had a 4 or 5 point game with 4 minutes to go or 3 minutes to go, whatever it was, and they bumped it. I just thought that was a little crazy, man. I didn't like it at all. No worries, Cole. No problem, brother. I said earlier regarding getting players that require waivers is that they would be likely to receive them under Hugs. Maybe, it's possible. Obviously, Jose didn't get his under Hugs. I don't remember if the Silverio thing happened before or after the Hugs incident, but it could play a role. I don't know if you guys heard Hugs' latest podcast episode on Full Court Press, but he talked about that actually. About how having relationships in matters, knowing the right people at the NCAA offices, the coaches, ADs, presidents, they all build relationships with the people at the NCAA. And if they know you, they're more likely to give you your waiver. Josh Eilert doesn't really know anybody yet. He hasn't been in the game long enough, doesn't have those relationships yet. Ren Baker maybe doesn't have as many relationships yet as what Huggins would have. So that matters. Now, you would think Gordon Gee would, though. He's been in it a long, long time. So a little surprising there. Trey says, okay, so I was able to go to the game. The refs were absolutely terrible. Late free throw line despairing was bad. Being a state ref myself, West Virginia shoots double free throws, and St. John's had double the fouls. That's I don't know. When I was looking at the stats earlier, I didn't even pick up on that. You're right. They had double the fouls, and we had double the free throws. Or no, never mind. I see what you're saying now. You're right. Yeah, they did have double the fouls. And because of that, we had double the free throws. It was a badly officiated game. I saw a few calls that went against us, too, that I thought were ridiculous, but I also saw some calls. They were just calling ticky-tack stuff, man. Just stuff that really shouldn't have been called, in my opinion. Absolutely top play in North Marion Fairmont at game with 12 seconds. North Marion receiver makes a one-handed left-hand catch in back of the end zone and somehow got a foot down. They did lose, however. Interesting. Trey's talking about the West Virginia State football championship game, the AA game between Fairmont State and North. So Fairmont State won the game, I'm assuming, Trey. My team, Princeton Tigers, play tomorrow at noon in the AAA state title game. It's the first time in school history they've made it to the state title game. They play Martinsburg tomorrow at noon. I'm personally expecting Martinsburg to win the game. I don't think Princeton's defense can stop Martinsburg. And I think Princeton will be able to score some points because their offense is explosive, but I'm not sure they'll be able to outscore Martinsburg. Martinsburg is just an elite high school football program in the state of West Virginia. So, but for these guys to even get there is an honor and a privilege. And like I said, the first time in school history. So pretty cool. It goes back to things you've even said, because, yep, I agree. 72 is a team from the line, inexcusable. 72, but the other team shot 70, dude. And And I don't think 72 is all that bad. I mean, we've seen teams shoot in the 60s before, but the problem is it's when they missed them. They missed them at the end when it was crunch time. To me, that was worse than the fact they missed them at all. More emotion. Yeah, I see what you're saying, John. But I'm going to speak. Every coach is different, but here's my take on it. I've never coached college ball, but I have coached some AAU ball. And here's what I've learned about myself during coaching. I used to be a very emotional coach. I used to do a lot of jumping up and down, screaming, yelling. And I'm not saying I never do that anymore, because I do, but I used to pace and walk around a lot and stuff like that. But what I've noticed is, number one, it makes my players more nervous. And I actually asked my players one time, do y'all feel like I'm a better coach when I'm sitting down and not pacing? And they said, yes, absolutely. So I've started sitting down more when I coach, showing less emotion when I coach. And my team has gotten better. Now, a lot of that too is related to my team improving, but I'm a better coach when I'm sitting down and I'm calm. I can think more clearly. I can see the floor better. I can think more clearly because I'm not letting my emotions get the best of me, if that makes sense. But again, every coach is different. Some coaches are emotional and can still coach fine. Maybe Eilert's like me. Maybe Eilert's more like me, and if he gets emotional, then it overshadows his thinking. That's just a thought I've got. Not saying it's right or wrong. I heard about that, Curtis. Trey, did you see that when you were at the game about them booing Gee? I thought that was interesting. What's up, Jeremy? Appreciate you hopping in, man. Yeah, it's Trey. Send that to me if you don't care. They allowed St. John's to be physical on offense against Jesse, but didn't allow Jesse to be physical back. Yeah, I kind of noticed that too. Yeah, Fairmont Seniors AA lives. Well, they've been AA for a few years now, because I remember them I remember them playing Bluefield, who's a local team here in AA in the state title game a few years back. Players feed off their coach. Loudest it was all night. He doesn't have the clout to come off as a neurotic. He's just trying to be professional. Yeah. See, and that's the great thing about going back to the relationship thing. That even dictates how you handle referees. A referee is more likely to give you a call or not give you a technical in some cases, whatever the case may be, if they know you and have a relationship with you. And if they don't have that relationship with you and you're over there acting all neurotic and spastic, they might not like it too much. You know what I mean? They're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt, maybe like they would a Bob Huggins or somebody that's been, or a Pitino, for example, something like that. That's just, and again, Bob Huggins talked about that, how relationships matter when it comes to officials too. But anyway, well, guys, listen, I really appreciate you guys jumping in here with us tonight. I'm going to have to jump off of here. We've been on here a little over an hour. It's getting a little late here, so I'm going to jump. I've got a long day tomorrow. We're going to be spending a day with family in North Carolina tomorrow at a birthday party. So I appreciate all of you hopping on here. Appreciate you guys supporting what we do here at Hoops from the Hills and also over at other channels, Couz's Corner and Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. Please, guys, if you haven't yet, make sure to hit the thumbs up button before you leave. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button as well. That helps that YouTube algorithm, helps get this pumped out to more people, and helps more people find Hoops from the Hills. Well, guys, hopefully we'll be back with another episode or a preview video or something before the Pitt game. We're going to try our best to get one of those out to you. If not, we will definitely try to do a post-game reaction show. So with all that being said, guys, thanks again. This live stream is over. See you next time.